What's up, everybody? Welcome to Batman Unmasked, your after show for Batman, the TellTale series. Now, normally, you'd come watch this episode after you beat whatever episode you just beat, and we'd all talk about it and talk about our decisions. Everybody go, oh, I can't believe that one. It'd be great. It'd be fun. But you haven't played it yet. Episode 1 isn't out. So instead, today, we're going to talk about how this Batman game came to be. So I'm Greg Miller from KindofFunny.com, and this is Tony Guerrero from Comic Vine and GameSpot. How are you, Tony?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good. Now you're here because you know a lot about Batman. You like the comics.
I do. Yeah.
Who is Batman?
Batman. Can I say?
Yeah.
Is this a spoiler?
Well, I don't know. Have they changed that in your game?
I don't know if it's a spoiler.
No, it's the same. Okay.
So Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Great. We'll see you back here for episode. No, everybody, don't worry about it. Sean O'Connor
Yes.
from TellTale Games, executive producer. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
You know, I'm pretty well. This is a nice set. You've done well for yourself.
We're excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Oh, he's excited.
And
for
Tony
me,
as
too.
well.
No. Don't bring Tony into it if you don't have to. No, what are you guys bringing to Batman? You know what I mean? This is what, for me as a Batman fan, for Tony as a Batman fan, Batman's been done well before. Like, what were you excited for to come to and tackle on this project?
Yeah, I think this will be a TellTale Batman game, and I think there's been great Batman games before, and they've been really focused on action and skill, but we're bringing the drama and the detective work and some of these aspects that we do really well with our format. Like, we're going to be playing a lot of Bruce in our game, which is different than other Batman games, as well as a lot of Batman. And at certain points in our game, you get to choose whether you play as Bruce or Batman. So, you know, TellTale has a kind of a unique way of story-driven game, and it's our take on Batman.
So then, Sean, what was the reaction in the studio like when people came in like, oh, we're going to work on a Batman game?
Oh, it was huge.
Yeah.
We have so many Batman fans here and so many comic fans, and yeah, the team is super excited. And even the people that are working on the other projects in the studio are super excited about Batman. And
was there trepidation? I mean, this is Batman. You know what I mean? You guys have had big properties before.
we don't shy away from a challenge, right? We're excited about it. We see so much that we can do that's different from what's been done before. So we think our take on Batman can be really unique and really entertaining to the fans.
Okay. So, Kevin, you're talking about Bruce, you're talking about Batman. How do you find that balance, and how does that look from a gameplay perspective?
Well, I think when we look at it, we look at your Batman no matter what suit you're wearing, whether you're wearing the bat suit or whether you're wearing the tuxedo as Bruce. So you're always Batman. Everything that can happen as Bruce can affect what happens as Batman and vice versa. So that was really kind of where we were grounded, this duality of always being Batman in every context.
Now, Tony, are they saying the right things? Because I'm a Batman fan like you, and it sounds like they're saying the right things.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only difference would be Batman is Bruce Wayne if there's other people around. But yeah, he is always Batman because Bruce Wayne is more like the costume.
Right. Bruce Wayne's the mask.
Yeah.
Right?
Batman is who he is.
And I guess that's what's interesting about the game and what I've seen when we went to E3 and I got to watch the demo. Nobody let me play. Jerks. Is the fact that, you know, we get to be in the mind of Batman. And even when we are Bruce, it's then that question of, do I want to talk to Falcone and do I want to be a jerk about it? Or do I want to try to be the aloof playboy? Do I want to look weak? Do I want to start letting that Bruce Wayne part, or the Batman part go out as Bruce Wayne? Sean, is that hard to balance? I feel like TellTale games are always like, all right, you got to be a good guy, or not a good guy or a bad guy, but you make decisions that then radiate out. And Batman is so interesting. There's usually a core to what Batman is.
So is it difficult? Sure. But all of our games are difficult to make and make really well and make those choices really matter and make sure that the inner relationships you have with the other characters are all really meaningful and deep. So yeah, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, but it's actually really fun to do and go, okay, we can be, you know, kind of the Caped Crusader Batman or more the Dark Knight, more brutal Batman, you know, and you can make those choices of how you want to go and how you want to play.
And that's what was fascinating about that E3 demo, is the fact that having the first glance at the game and what episode 1 was going to be, seeing those pop up where I think it's a conversation with Catwoman on the rooftop where she's like, well, why do you do this? And the choices pop up and it's like, well, I want to be the hero or I need to instill fear and all. And right there was the first time of like,
or
oh,
Gotham
right.
needs me. Yeah.
Exactly. Because this is, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, your own Batman, your own universe. You're playing, this is all your own universe thing.
Yeah, that's one of the great things is Batman has a 75 years of history and there's been all these different takes in the comics and movies and television on what kind of what the Batman universe is like. There isn't really an official canon, like one true Batman. So we're making our own version of Batman, and it starts at a very familiar place where people are going to identify like all the common Batman elements, but it definitely does not finish there. It evolves in a very unique to TellTale way.
He becomes Superman.
He becomes Superman. Absolutely.
Tony, for you, here we are, pre-episode 1. What does Batman need to be? When you think of Batman, what do you think of in terms of this is what the character is?
Well, I mean, they always say Batman can take on anyone. He's a brilliant man. He's a great fighter, but it's all about his mind. He's has contingency plans, and he's the world's greatest detective. So he needs to be able to take on any situation, be prepared, and dive in there. So I'm fascinated about the idea of delving into the decision-making of Batman, and hopefully I can make the right decisions that Batman would make.
Well, that's the whole thing, and that's what's so weird about it, right, is that I felt like in previous TellTale games, right, Michonne in particular, where when I was playing it, I felt like I knew that character, so I knew the choices I was making. This is the canon choice of how it should be. But with Batman, it is like, more than ever, the branching paths, and if I want to be the Dark Knight, if I want to be the really brutal Batman, I can do that. But if I want to be, the more, I'm in the gray suit with the blue top, I'm here and I'm going to be nicer and chum and all this different stuff. That's fascinating. That's what I'm interested about and how it's going to all play out. But then talk a little bit more then, I guess, about the fact of how it mutates, how Bruce's decisions affect Batman's and vice versa.
I'll talk Batman first. So Batman, how you act as Batman, if you're really brutal, the city kind of turns against you. So our game is early on in Batman's career. It's not, 10 years in. It's
ballpark.
1 or 2 years,
okay.
3 years, somewhere like that.
He hasn't had 15 Robins yet.
Right.
Gotcha.
Exactly. He has had 0 Robins at this point. So Gotham's still not sure how to react to this masked vigilante.
Sure.
And so depending on how you act, Gotham acts different. And so depending on how you act as Bruce, with Falcone, like you said, that we showed in the E3 demo, or with Harvey Dent, or some of the other characters that we have, that impacts how Gotham perceives Bruce as well. It all kind of ties together in some very cool and meaningful ways that I don't want to spoil.
Is it interesting to jump in and be able to have your own Harvey Dent and have your own Selena Kyle? Because that was the thing I was taking away from it, is the fact that I feel whenever we talk about Batman as a property, as 75 years of history, you talk about the Rogues Gallery, and you talk about all this, his partners in crime and all these different things. To come out and see the way Harvey interacts with Bruce, and then to see the way Catwoman and Batman get to there's something familiar about it with like Batman, Catwoman, and then with Harvey there was something grounded and not, if that makes sense.
Well, it's exactly what Kevin said, is we start in a very familiar place. So if you're familiar with Batman, which I would assume most people are that are picking this up.
If you're watching this, hey, what's up, Batman nerd?
You probably are. We start in a relatively familiar place, and so with characters that you know, and we establish that, but then it kind of goes where you take it. So it really depends on how you play it, how you play with those characters, how you interact with them, how you treat them, in where those characters go and where the season goes.
Based on Batman's decisions and Bruce's decisions, is it possible that maybe somebody we think would become a villain this way won't become a villain at all? Is that too leading of a question?
Yeah, I think there's definitely space where who the villains are in our series emerges from gameplay. So you may choose to do something that keeps Harvey, kind of leans into the good side of Harvey, but at the expense of your relationship with Vicky and things like that. Kind of in a TellTale game, there's no right or wrong answer to stuff. You're just making a mess of yourself the whole time.
There's just different consequences.
So then,
sometimes good, sometimes bad.
I mean, my question for you guys was then, how did you sell DC on letting you do that? You know, I mean, like, when I think of DC, I think of them protecting their characters and like protecting their toy box. Are they getting better about that?
They're fantastic to work with.
Yeah.
So the way we've kind of approached is we've thought of what we want to do, and we go talk with them, meet with them, and they're really open to us building our own Batman story and not just adapting something that's out there. So we're not trying to adapt any Batman story that's out there. We're building our own Batman story and our own Bruce story. And so they're really open to that. And they are super excited about some of the stuff that we're doing. They're like, I can't believe nobody's thought of that before. They've actually said it to us. I'm like, 75 years, nobody's done what you guys are doing. So there's some really cool stuff that's going to be surprises in there.
Tony, does that surprise you? You keep an eye on the comic book industry. I feel like being a DC fanboy for my entire life.
I mean, it makes sense. I could see them being very protective, and and there should be certain ground rules. I am a strong, I believe Batman shouldn't kill.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to, because the death of his parents is that was his driving force. So he would hold all life sacred, even people like the Joker. So I think he's so skilled that he knows how to take down an opponent. The only problem is keeping them locked up.
Exactly.
That seems
which
to be,
he can't do.
He cannot do that. Yeah.